Welcome. Hi, everyone that's joining. Welcome to another Wednesday evening Vanbrugh Virtual Pub Quiz Live. As usual, we'll wait a few minutes or so to get a critical mass, and then we'll start the quiz. Hope everyone's well. I've had a bit of a disaster. I've been stuck on meetings at work, and so I didn't get a chance to go and stock up on my beers. I've only just got the solitary one can of Guinness to get me through, so we'll see how that goes. As usual, please post in the comments and let me know who's taking part. And as usual, if you need questions repeated, etc., just post comments in the live chat and I'll be able to interact with you through that. Otherwise, some of you have my number, but obviously try and chat through the chat here. Hi, Barbara and Kev. Hi, Katrina and Vanda and Chris. Gin and tonic tonight. Good to have you on board again, guys. Hi, Alicia. Let's put some background music on whilst we're waiting. Hi, Simon, Hannah, Rick and Jane. Good to have you on board. Hi, Flooders. Good to have you back. Matt, good to have you on board. Hi, Jane. Nice choice. Dark and stormy. I may have to break into the spirits cabinet. Hi, Ant and Kate. Sam Miguel's on the go. Good work. Hi, Jan and Katie. Good to have you back. Maisie's taking part too. Hi, Adrian. Hi, guys. Hi, Adrian. Yeah, I can grow. Had a clean shave, started to grow the beard back. Let's see how long it takes. Probably not that long. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Lydia. Hi, John. Good to have you back. Yeah, let me know what everyone's drinking this evening. As I said, I had a bit of a disaster. I couldn't get out because I was stuck on meetings. Got one can of Guinness to get me through. I may have to raid the spirits cabinet and make some cocktails. Hi, Nigel. Hi, Holly. Rum, good work. I might have to tuck into some rum as well. Hi, Jess and Dan. Good to have you back again. And the Ribinus, has he hit it too hard or has he been training too hard? Hi, Joe. Hi, Amber. Let's wait a few more minutes, see if we get any more people joining, and then we'll kick off. Similar format as always, current affairs. Still managed to get some cryptic film titles out, so even though this started to scrape the barrel a bit, I feel, but we've got sports, history, then a couple of special rounds in the second half, followed by the wipeout and the music round. Right, we'll give it another minute and then we'll kick off. As always, if people need anything repeated or latecomers only get half the quiz, etc., I will, as always, run through questions again. Before we kick off, if anyone saw the flyer for the quiz, the T-shirt I was wearing was inspired by, well, it said Charlie Croker's Coach Tours. Charlie Croker was the character played by Michael Caine in The Italian Job, so it's Italian Job. So if you got that or watched that and got that, award yourself an extra point. Hi, Simon. Good evening. Right, guys, I think we've got enough of a critical mass that will kick off the quiz. As I've said, hi, Claire. Good to have you back on board. Hope you're well. Right, round one, as always, is going to be current affairs. Going to kick off with 5 current affairs questions, 1 point for each. I thought it was a bit hard last week, so I've tried to sort of make it slightly easier. Hopefully I've not made it too easy, but again, some people may say it's probably still too hard, but we'll see how it goes. So if you need anything repeated, just let me know in the live chat with the round and question number, and I'll repeat the question. So round one, question 1. Which actress has become the oldest star to appear on the cover of British Vogue in its 104-year history? So question 1. Which actress has become the oldest star to appear on the cover of British Vogue in its 104-year history? Question 2. Apologies for the pronunciation on this if I've got it horribly wrong, but I think it's close. Hafthor Bjornsson has broken the deadlift world record whilst in coronavirus lockdown. He is best known for playing which TV character? Hafthor Bjornsson has broken the deadlift world record whilst in coronavirus lockdown. What character is he best known to have played on TV? Question 3 in current affairs. Slightly harder. Which American author has become only the 4th writer ever to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction twice? That question again. Which American author has become only the 4th writer ever to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction twice? Question 4. Which singer recorded a concert behind closed doors at the Royal Albert Hall to mark 75th anniversary of VE Day? Question 4. Which singer recorded a concert behind closed doors at the Royal Albert Hall to mark the 75th anniversary of VE Day? And finally, question 5 in current affairs, final question for this round. The new Netflix smash, The Last Dance, is a documentary about which team? The new Netflix documentary, The Last Dance, is a documentary about which team? And that's your lot for the current affairs round. In case some people joined late, let me know if you need anything repeating, or if you just didn't quite hear me on any of those questions, let me know and I'll repeat the question. So we'll have a brief pause whilst people can ask for repeats before we move on to the cryptic film round. Just waiting to see if anyone needs anything repeated, or if anyone's joined late and needs the first round repeated. Right, doesn't look like anyone wants anything repeating, so we'll move on to round two. Round two, entertainment, cryptic film titles. As always, the example I give here is we're going to have 5 clues for 5 well-known films. So as a clue, as always, highest revolver is the clue, and the film would be Top Gun. So I'm going to give 5 similar cryptic clues to famous film titles. And all I want you to do for a point for each is give me the film type, the film that goes with the cryptic clue. So clue 1 is Pumping Courage. Clue 1, Pumping Courage. Clue 2, Cajun Women. Cajun Women. Clue 3, Search for a Communist Autumn. Search for a Communist Autumn. Clue 4, Looking for a Decent Inheritance. Looking for a Decent Inheritance. And finally, clue 5, the Vatican. The Vatican. So that's all your 5 clues. People normally need things repeated in this one, so I'll hold fire for a bit until we move on to the next round. Again, if anyone's joined late and needs anything repeating from rounds 1 or 2, please let me know. Chris, clue 4 in round 2 was looking for a decent inheritance. Looking for a decent inheritance. Katie, clue 5 is simply the Vatican. The Vatican. Any more for any more? Otherwise, we'll move on to round 3, which is sports. 2 was Cajun Women. Cajun Women. Right. Move on to round 3, sports. Question 1. Which sport did James Naismith invent in 1891? Which sport did James Naismith invent in 1891? Question 2. How many medals did Jesse Owen win at the 1936 Olympics? I thought you'd get the answer to that, Matt. How many medals did Jesse Owens win at the 1936 Olympics? Question 3. Who did Michael Schumacher drive for when he won his first World Drivers' Championship? So, who did Michael Schumacher drive for when he won his first Formula One Drivers' Championship? Question 4. 8 minutes 47.8 seconds is the fastest ever winning time for what race? 8 minutes 47.8 seconds is the fastest winning time for what race? And finally, question 5. Who did Frank Rijkaard spit on during the 1990 World Cup? Who did Frank Rijkaard spit on during a match in the 1990 World Cup? Bridget, you need to brush up on your sports knowledge. Some of those were quite easy, I thought. Right, let me know if anyone wants anything repeated. I will take a brief pause before we move on to round 4, which is this week is history. Katie, question 5 was, who did Frank Rijkaard spit on during a match at the 1990 World Cup? So who is the person that he spat on? I've also got a confession, guys. I'm going to have to disappoint you. I thought I had some costumes left over, but turns out I'm out of costumes. So probably not going to see. I did have a look earlier, and literally, I think I've gone through everything I had, which is unsurprising, seeing as what is this week 7 of this quiz. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do a costume change at half time. So apologies for that. Thought I'd save that before I get any stick right from the off. Jane says, shave your head instead. Well, that would be quite drastic. I mean, did shave the beard in the last one, so. I know. Claire, I know what you're about to pipe up with, but yes, that costume has long been retired. And Indra, I don't think anyone wants to see that. So just before we move on to history, just quickly again, does anyone want anything repeated from sports? John, yes, you can send costumes in. You know where I live, so, or well, roughly where I live. Chris, question 4 was 8 minutes and 47.8 seconds is the fastest ever winning time in which race? Just checking. I haven't seen that we've got Tom and Tom in the house today. If you're out there, let me know. Right, guys. Betsy, good to have you aboard. I didn't know if you were playing. Yeah, that I think whilst I'm quite good on these costume changes, I think that's going to take, as those of you who know me, that will take a lot longer than the break we have at half time. Right, we're going to move on to round 4, history. After that, we'll have a brief break. You can top up your drinks, take a convenience break. I can see what I've got in my booze cupboard, and we'll come back, give you some answers, and crack on with the second half. But before we do that, round 4, history. Question 1. Who led an invasion of Cuba with his brother and Che Guevara in 1956? Ah, Thomas, good to have you on board. I hope you are getting white girl wasted as you were planning to. Question 1 in history, round 4. Who led an invasion of Cuba with his brother Che Guevara in 1956? Sorry, with his brother and Che Guevara. It's not Che Guevara was not his brother. Question 2. Which confederation of Celtic tribes inhabited Scotland and conducted raids on Roman Britain? So what was the name given to the group of Celtic tribes that lived in Scotland and conducted raids on Roman Britain? Question 3. Which English queen famously said, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman"? Which English queen famously said, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman"? Question 4. Which Scottish patriot led a revolt against the English rule in 1297? Which Scottish patriot led a revolt against English rule in 1297? And finally, question 5. What rank did Confederate leader Robert E. Lee hold during the American Civil War? So what rank was Confederate leader Robert E. Lee during the American Civil War? And that's a lot for the first half. So let me know if you need any of the history questions repeated, or if you need any of the ones prior to that repeated, and I'll stick around and give you the answers to those, not the answers, the questions, and then we'll take a brief break. A 2-3, that was Search for a Communist Autumn. So round 2, clue 3 was Search for a Communist Autumn. Saturday, I'll run through the questions very quickly. 1-3, Katie, was Which American author has become only the fourth writer ever to win the Pulitzer Prize twice for fiction? So, Saturday, get your pen and paper ready. I'm going to whiz through these. Round one, question one. Which history question one? Who led an invasion of Cuba with his brother and Che Guevara in 1956? Saturday, question one, round one. Which actress has become the oldest star to appear on the cover of British Vogue? Question two. Hafthor Bjornsson has broken the deadlift world record whilst in coronavirus lockdown. He is best known for playing which TV character? Question three. Which American author has become only the fourth ever writer to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction twice? Question four. Which singer recorded a concert behind closed doors at the Royal Albert Hall to mark the 75th anniversary of VE Day? Question five. The new Netflix smash, The Last Dance, is a documentary about which team? Cryptic clues for the film round. One, clue, so these are the clues. One, pumping courage. Two, Cajun women. Three, search for a communist autumn. Four, looking for a decent inheritance. And five, the Vatican. Round three, sports. Question one, what sport did James Naismith invent in 1891? Two, how many medals did Jesse Owen win at the 1936 Olympics? Three, who did Michael Schumacher drive for when he won his first ever world championship? Four, 8 minutes and 47.8 seconds is the fastest ever winning time for what race? And five, who did Frank Rijkaard spit on during a match at the 1990 World Cup? Round four, question one. Who led an invasion of Cuba with his brother and Che Guevara in 1956? Two, which group of Celtic tribes inhabited Scotland and conducted raids on Roman Britain? Three, which English queen famously said, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman." Four, which Scottish patriot led a revolt against English rule in 1297? And finally, five, what rank did Confederate leader Robert E. Lee hold during the American Civil War? So hopefully anyone else that need anything repeated, you got it in that quick recap. Time for a quick break. I'll put some music on. I'm going to go and make myself a drink. And I'll see you shortly. As I said, unfortunately, I won't have a great costume change this week. Well, I say great, mildly amusing. Right, let me put some music on. See you shortly.
Jim and like when I noticed they was looking at me. I was in high school losing elevator with the ladies. I was going somewhere I missed. And then my next door neighbor with the dog had a favor, so I gave it just a little kiss like this. Sing with balls in the school and your feet flying up in the air. Sing, hey, did it, what you did it, and made like a swing like I did in the chair. So I took a big chance at the high school dance with a missing who was ready to play. Wasn't me, she was cool, but she knew what she was doing when she taught me how to walk this way. She told me to walk this way, walk this way, walk this way, walk this way, walk this way. On this one, just give me a kiss. Like this. Yeah, I could stick my hand in my heart, I'd spill it all over the stage. Would it satisfy? Would it satisfy? Would boy, it's strange. Ain't it strange? If I could sing a love song so divine, would it be enough for your cheap heart? If I go down and cry, if I know it's only rock and roll, but I can't. I know it's only rock and roll, but I can't. Yes, I know. What you say? It's all over. It's been a long day. Still, I'm not very hard. Suicide right on stage. Would it be enough for your teenage love? Would it help to ease the pain? Ease the pain. If I did down deep in my heart, yeah, there's the blood on the page. Would it satisfy? Would it satisfy? Would it keep the boys insane? He's insane. I said, I know it's only rock and roll, but I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. Yes, I know. I care. Yeah, I like it. I said, can't you say this old boy has been alone there? I meant to make the time the only one. I like it. 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 Rock and roll, I like it. Rock and roll, I like it. Only rock and roll, I like it. Only rock and roll, I like it. Only rock and roll, I like it.
Well, thank you for joining me this evening to carry on playing with the quiz. You've done so great to get so far this, and I'm very proud of us as a nation. Sorry, I'm just watching at the comments roll in. I did finally find actually this wig. I thought actually at the time it was, I think it was from the outfit, it was a Donald Trump, but actually when I put it on, I thought it bears better resemblance to Boris. So I'll try to be not as bumbling as he was in his delivery on Sunday evening, but I can't make any promises, especially after I've switched to the purple drank. If only he was drinking some of this, perhaps it would have made more sense. Right, guys. hopefully you're all rested and have refilled your glasses and taken your convenience break. Yeah, it could be Princess. Could use it as a Princess Diana wig as well. Not. Let's rough it up a bit more to make it more Boris-like. Don't know. That's perhaps looking more Scylla-like. Who knows? Anyway, let's crack on with giving you some answers. What is purple drank? Look it up on Tinternet. It's what them rappers drink. I think it can. It's mainly made up of cough syrup, etc. However, this is just a bit of rum and grape soda. Right, let's give you some answers to the first half of the quiz. I'll put some background music on, which... Right. Question 1, current affairs. Which actress has become the oldest star to appear on the cover of British Vogue in its 104-year history? It was Dame Judi Dench. Hafthor Bjornsson has broken the deadlift world record whilst in lockdown during coronavirus. However, he is best known for playing which TV character? He plays the Mountain in the Game of Thrones. Which American author has become only the 4th writer ever to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction twice? It is Colson Whitehead. So Colson Whitehead. Question 4. Which singer recorded a concert behind closed doors at the Royal Albert Hall to mark the 75th anniversary of VE Day? It was Catherine Jenkins. Question 5. The new Netflix smash The Last Dance is a documentary about which team? It's the Chicago Bulls. Going on to the cryptic film round. So clue 1 was Pumping Courage. The film was Braveheart. 2, hopefully quite easy, Cajun Women, Spice Girls. 3, Search for a Communist Autumn, Hunt for Red October. 4, Looking for a Decent Inheritance, Good Will Hunting. And finally, 5, the Vatican was City of God. Moving on to round 3, sports. Which sport did James Naismith invent in 1891? It was basketball. 2, how many medals did Jesse Owen win at the 1936 Olympics? It was 4. 3, who did Michael Schumacher drive for when he won his first ever Drivers' Championship? It was Benetton. 4, 8 minutes and 47.8 seconds is the fastest ever winning time for what race? Hopefully you could have had a guess at that. It was a Grand National. Question 5. Who did Frank Rijkaard spit on during the match at the 1990 World Cup? It was Rudi Völler. Holly, I'm feeling generous. I'll give you half a point for City of Angels. And if people put apologies, yes, I suppose that's an error on my part. It was Spice World, but hopefully people would have got that one. Round 4, history. Who led an invasion of Cuba with his brother and Che Guevara in 1956? It's Fidel Castro. What confederation of Celtic tribes inhabited Scotland and conducted raids on Roman Britain? It was the Picts. 3. Which English queen famously said, "I know I have a body of a weak and feeble woman"? It's Elizabeth I. Tom, that's not a film, that's Yorkshire. 4. Which Scottish patriot led a revolt against English rule in 1297? Linked to one of the cryptic film clues, it was William Wallace. And 5. What rank did Confederate leader Robert E. Lee hold during the American Civil War? If you watched Dukes of Hazzard, you could have guessed it as well. It was General, i.e. General Lee. Round 2, question 5 was, the clue was Vatican and the film was City of God. Hopefully you've got all your answers. And 14 out of 20. Good going, Kate. Question round 5, special round. So we've got 2. Number 1 in sports, the sport he invented was basketball. $17 out of 20. 19 out of 20. I've obviously made it too easy. Right. Rounds 5 and 6 are specialist rounds. Adrian, what happened? Round 5 is all to do with monsters. So question 1 in round 5, which is all to do with monsters. Whose reputation for cruelty inspired the name of Count Dracula in Bram Stoker's novel, 1897 novel, Dracula? So whose reputation for cruelty inspired the name of Count Dracula in the novel? Some good scores, guys. Question 1 again, just to repeat. Whose reputation for cruelty inspired the name of Count Dracula in Bram Stoker's 1897 novel, Dracula? Question 2 in monsters. In Greek mythology, which race of giants had a single eye in the center of their foreheads? In Greek mythology, which race of giants had a single eye in the center of their foreheads? Question 3. Which monster was killed by Hercules using sword and fire as his second of his 12 labor? Question 3. Which monster was killed by Hercules using sword and fire as the second of his 12 labors? Question 4. Which beast mentioned in the Bible in the book of Job, or book of Job, has come to be used for an extremely large or powerful entity? Which beast mentioned in the Bible in the book of Job has come to be used for an extremely large or powerful entity? And an easy one to finish. I think that round was potentially quite easy, but again, we'll see from the scores. Question 5. Which enormous sea monster said to dwell off the coast of Norway is often represented in the form of a gigantic squid? Which enormous sea monster, said to dwell off the coast of Norway, is often represented in the form of a gigantic squid? So that's your lot for round 5. Let me know if you need anything repeated. Okay, it doesn't seem that anyone wants anything repeated, so we'll just pause whilst you just finalise your answers, and then we'll move on to round 6. Question 4, Simon. Which beast mentioned in the Bible in the book of Job has come to be used for an extremely large or powerful entity? Question 5, Katie. Which enormous sea monster, said to dwell off the coast of Norway, is often represented in the form of a giant squid? Right, I think everyone's okay for round 5. So we'll move on to round 6, which is another special round. This time, the round's all to do with signs and symbols. So question 1. In a standard novel, what is the most commonly used punctuation mark? Question 1. In a standard novel, what is the most commonly used punctuation mark? Question 2 in signs and symbols round. Which zodiac sign is symbolized by a crab? Which zodiac sign is symbolized by a crab? Question 3. In musical notation, the flat symbol closely resembles which lowercase letter of the alphabet? Three, in musical notation, the flat symbol closely resembles which lowercase letter of the alphabet? Question 4. Predominantly associated with good luck and deriving its name from the Sanskrit for well-being, what is a name given to an equilateral cross with arms bent at right angles? So I'll repeat that again, it's quite wordy. Predominantly associated with good luck and deriving its name from the Sanskrit for well-being, what is the name given to an equilateral cross with arms bent at right angles? Question 5. Final question for this round. Which two tools were adopted as an emblem in 1922 when Russia united with other communist states to form the USSR? Which two tools, half a point for each, were adopted as an emblem in 1922 when Russia united with other communist states to form the USSR? That's your 5 questions for the signs and symbols round. Let me know if you need anything repeated. Right, I don't think anyone's asking for any repeats. So we're going to move on to round 7, which is the wipeout round. And I think most of the people playing have played before, but just in case you haven't, with this round, each question, correct answer in this round as before gets you 1 point. However, say you choose to answer 4 questions in this round and you get 3 of those right, the 1 wrong answer wipes out all your points for the round. So be careful what you're answering, because as soon as you answer 1 of them wrong, you get 0 points for the entire round. So question 1 in Wipeout. What did my true love bring to me on the 8th day of Christmas? What did my true love give to me on the 8th day of Christmas? Question 2 in Wipeout. Which actress starred in Serena, Joy, and American Hustle? Which actress starred in Serena, Joy, and American Hustle? Question 3. In which European capital city is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded annually? In which European capital city is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded annually? Question 4. Which motorway would you travel on from Manchester to Leeds? Which motorway would you travel on from Manchester to Leeds? And finally, question 5 for Wipeout, just because I didn't learn my lesson from the controversy caused last week. Which has a better top speed, a human or a grizzly bear? What has a better top speed, a human or a grizzly bear? And that's your lot for Wipeout. So let me know if you need anything repeated. Top speed, so the top speed that they can reach. So that's why I've tried to hone it a bit better. So it's just the actual top speed that they can hit. As I said, I haven't learnt my lesson, have I? Yes, average top speed. Actually, you can have, I've got both figures. The question 4, which motorway would you travel on from Manchester to Leeds? Question 2, which actress starred in Serena, Joy, and American Hustle? Top speed. So it doesn't matter about over what distance, it's the actual top speed. Let me know if you want any more for any more. Otherwise, we'll move on to the music round. Also, before we start the music round, I got a bit carried away today because last week I was a bit slapdash in preparing for the quiz. Question 3, Joe. Question 3 is, in which European capital city is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded annually? In which European capital city is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded annually? So I prepared the music round in a bit more in advance this week, but got carried away and actually added quite a few songs to the round. So if people are minded to do so, I can extend this to 5. I can extend this from 5 to 10 music questions, so to 10 songs rather than the 5. Let me know if you'd prefer to just stick to 5 or whether you want the extra other 5 songs as well. So we can decide at halfway mark. So I'll play the first 5, and if you want to carry on and do another 5, let me know. Katie's brilliant. Is this perhaps because it's your worst round, Katie? Right. Katie, unfortunately, I think people are going for 10, but I'll give you until we've got through the first 5. Let's wait till we go. We'll do the first 5 and then we'll see. Right. We're going to start the music round. As always, I'm going to play the songs through once, one after another. You're going to get the intro to some, I'd say they're fairly popular songs. These aren't very obscure, and trying to cater for everyone's tastes. One point for the artist and 1 point for the song. So traditional quiz, there's 10 points on offer, but if people want to carry on, we'll do another 5. So starting off the first 5 songs, and we'll see if people want to carry on. Right, song 1, round 8. So hopefully an easy one to start off. Katie, I think hopefully even you can get that. Question 2, another classic, but perhaps not in the same category of classic. Question 3. Question 4. And potentially finally question 5. Right, I'll do 1 to 5 again, and then, as I said, let me know. I think quite a lot of people would like to do another 5, but if you would like to do another 5, please carry on commenting. But I'll do 1 to 5 just to kick off again. So question 1. Question 2. Question 3. Question 4. Question 5. Looks like there's enough demand to do another 5, so we'll have the second 5 as well. So I'll give you a brief second just to check your answers or have a bit more of a think. Hopefully, I think they weren't, besides perhaps number 3, fairly easy, I think. Right, question 6. Question 7. Question 8. Question 9. And finally, question 10. I'll play the second 5 through again once more. So question 10, last question for the quiz. So I'll give you a brief moment and I'll do the second 5 once again. Okay, here we go. One more listen. Question 7. Question 8. Question 9. And finally, question 10. And that's your lot. Hopefully you did okay on that round. As I said, I think the quiz was quite tough last week, so I've tried to make it easier. Maybe I've made it too easy. Let me know if you need anything repeated in terms of question-wise. I know sometimes people's internet connections, etc., can be dodgy with the music, but hopefully that all came through. If not, let me know. Otherwise, we'll take another quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll go through the second half of the quiz. See you shortly. I'll leave you with some music. You want number 10 again, Chris? I'll play that once more. Right, see you in a second.
All my time come here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't feel the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain. We can be like that. Come on, baby, don't feel the reaper. Baby, take my hand, don't feel the reaper. We'll be able to fly, don't feel the reaper. Baby, I'm your man. Valentine, here but now they're gone. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. Romeo and Juliet, 40,000 men and women every day. Romeo and Juliet, 40,000 men and women every day. Reading every 40,000 coming every day. Can be like that. Come on, baby, don't feel the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't feel the reaper. We'll be able to fly. Don't feel the reaper. Baby, I'm your man. La, 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 la. disappeared. In the last night of sadness, and it was clear she couldn't go on. The door was open and the wind appeared. The candles blew and then disappeared. The curtains flew and then he appeared. Don't be afraid. Come on, baby. She had no fear. She ran to him, headed backward and said goodbye. She had taken his hand. Come on, baby.
Right, guys. Hopefully everyone's back and we can run through some answers. No one chucked in any repeats whilst I was gone, so let's crack on. Round 5, monsters. Question 1, whose reputation for cruelty inspired the name of Count Dracula in Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula? It was Vlad the Impaler. Question 2, in Greek mythology, which race of giants had a single eye in the center of their foreheads? It was the Cyclops. Question 3, which monster was killed by Hercules using sword and fire as the second of his 12 labors? It was the Hydra. Question 4, which beast mentioned in the Bible in the book of Job has come to be used for an extremely large or powerful entity? The answer is Behemoth. Question 5, which enormous sea monster said to dwell off the coast of Norway is often represented in the form of a giant squid? It's the Kraken. Round 6, question 1. In a standard novel, what is the most commonly used punctuation mark? It's the comma. Which zodiac sign is symbolized by a crab? It's Cancer. In musical notation, the flat symbol closely resembles which lowercase letter of the alphabet? It's B. Predominantly associated with good luck and deriving its name from the Sanskrit for well-being, what is the name given to an equilateral cross with arms bent at right angles? It's a swastika. Holly, round 1, the answer was whose reputation for cruelty inspired Count Dracula character? It was Vlad the Impaler. Katie, I'll check my answer to 5-4. I'll come back to you on that. And finally, question 5, in symbols, which 2 tools, half point for each, were adopted as an emblem in 1922 when Russia united with other communist states to form the USSR? It's the hammer and sickle. Round 7. Wipeout. What did my true love give to me on the 8th day of Christmas? It was 8 maids a milking. Question 2. Which actress starred in Serena, Joy, and American Hustle? It's Jennifer Lawrence. Question 3. In which European capital city is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded annually? It's in Oslo. Question 4. Which motorway would you travel on from Manchester to Leeds? It's the M62. And what has a better top speed, a human or a grizzly bear? It's a grizzly bear. Human top speed, a top speed recorded by a human is roughly 28 miles an hour. Top speed of grizzly bear, 35 miles an hour. Right, let's go into music. So, as I said, I think these are fairly easy. besides 1 or 2. So I think people should have had a high scoring round. I felt a bit bad after last week. People, it was a bit tough. So question 1, very easy one to start us off with. It's of course Dusty Springfield with Son of a Preacher Man.
Billy Ray was a preacher's son. And when his
2, Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac. 3, this is Beck with Loser. 4, Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. 5, Rhythm is a Dancer by Snap. And in our extended round, 6, this is All Right by Supergrass. 7, In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. 8, another classic, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Tears for Fears. 9, lots of you probably got the song, but did you get the artist? It's of course Walking in Memphis by Mark Cohen.
put on my blue suede
And finally,
shoes,
question 10.
boarded the plane.
This is Say What You Want by Texas. And there you go, that's your lot. Hopefully you got all the answers there. Let me know if you need anything repeated. As always, let me know how you did. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. Hopefully it was at a good level. I think it may have been a bit too easy. I said it's quite hard to pitch it. But as long as you had a good time. Remember, stay alert, save lives. Good work, Quizno. As always, maintaining the high standards. $231 out of 2. Good work, Chris. 37, good work. Glad you enjoyed it, Chris, Vander, and everyone else up there. Hope you're all doing well. Be good to catch up when you're back down. 47 good scores, some very high scores coming in here. $35, good work. Good work, Liam. 45. Matt, another good score there. Good work, guys. Bridget, expected more. Where'd you go wrong? Holly, you obviously, the music round, Pete's boosted your score with the music round there, I'm feeling. Stu, 42. That's another good score coming in through the text message. Katrina, yes, I have slept on that sofa. When you're back down, we'll have to head to Lahore for a nice curry once this is all blown over. Kate, you wanted... sorry, I'll go and check that. Glad you enjoyed it, guys. Katie, 5'4". No, I think I've checked it in the Bible. It is the behemoth in the Book of Job. The only other one I think may be confusing with is the sea creature, which is question 5, which is the Kraken, because that's the one shaped like a squid. The Leviathan is more shaped like a whale, I think. Good work, Charlie. See you all next week. Good work, Nickelbanks. See you next week. And do send me some costumes if you've got them knocking around. Won't promise I'll wear them. Depends on what they are. See you all soon. Right, guys. I'll be ending it shortly. Thanks for all taking part. Hope you have a good time. Hopefully it was pitched well. I think it might have been too easy, so I'll try and make it a bit harder next week, not too hard. Have a good week. Stay safe. Stay alert.